Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to pause for just a moment and feel something deep inside you. Right now, there is energy coursing through your body, some of it exciting, some of it restless, maybe even a little tense. That energy is not random. That energy is your emotions. And here's the incredible truth. Your emotions are the most powerful force in your life. They can either drive you toward greatness or hold you back in a prison of mediocrity. Every single person in this room has faced challenges, moments where fear, doubt, or frustration tried to take the wheel. But what if I told you that the same energy that fuels your frustration, your anxiety, your anger, can be redirected, harnessed, and transformed into unstoppable momentum? Every thought, every feeling, every vibration inside of you is shaping the reality around you. And the moment you decide to take control of your emotional energy, to step into a state of certainty, passion, and unstoppable belief, that's the moment your life changes. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday, right now. You have the power to ignite the fire inside you, to break through limitations and to create experiences you once thought were impossible. Because the energy of your emotions is not just something you feel, it's something you command. And when you master it, nothing can stand in your way. Emotions are not random. They are the invisible currents that drive every choice, action, and reaction we experience in life. Think about the last time you felt truly inspired, energized, or even deeply frustrated. That feeling was more than just a reaction to external circumstances. It was a surge of energy inside you, moving you toward action or holding you back from it. This energy is constantly flowing, sometimes subtly, sometimes with a force that feels almost overwhelming, shaping your reality in ways most people don't even notice. When you begin to understand that emotions are energy in motion, everything changes. You start to see that fear is not a wall meant to stop you. It is energy telling you where to focus your courage. Anger is not chaos meant to control you. It is energy signaling where a boundary has been crossed, where action is required. Joy, excitement, passion. These are not fleeting moods. They are powerful forces that can propel you forward faster than any plan, strategy, or external resource. Every thought you entertain, every story you tell yourself about your life triggers this energy, and your body responds instantly. Your posture, your voice, your level of engagement in the world around you all shift according to the state you choose to inhabit. People often underestimate the sheer power of these emotional currents because they appear intangible, invisible, and uncontrollable, yet they are the very engine of human performance and fulfillment. When you harness this energy consciously, you realize that your capacity to create change is far greater than any circumstance around you. Mastery over emotional energy is not about suppressing what you feel or pretending to be happy when you're not. It is about directing the natural forces of your inner experience so that they work for you instead of against you. By becoming aware of how your emotions move and fuel your actions, you can start to interrupt patterns that limit you and amplify those that empower you. You can deliberately choose the energy you bring into every conversation, every task, every challenge, and every opportunity. The first step is awareness, noticing that your emotions are signals, that they are energy, and that they always precede action. Once you recognize this, you can learn to shift that energy, to use it as a launch pad rather than a trap. The ability to manage and direct the energy of your emotions is not something reserved for a few gifted people. It is a skill, a practice, and a decision that anyone can take today in this moment to radically influence how they live, perform, and relate to the world around them. It changes how you face obstacles, how you engage with others, and how you experience success, failure, and the journey in between. The power to transform your life begins the moment you take full responsibility for your emotional state and recognize that it is not determined by external circumstances, but by the way you choose to respond to them. Many people live their entire lives as if emotions are something that just happened to them, as if they are at the mercy of the world, other people, or events beyond their control. But the truth is that your emotional state is the single most powerful tool you have to shape your reality, your decisions, and your outcomes. Every breakthrough, every achievement, every moment of fulfillment starts with mastering this energy within. When you realize that no one can make you feel a certain way without your participation, you step into a position of immense power. Life will always present challenges, obstacles, and setbacks, but these external events are neutral. It is the meaning you assign to them and the energy you bring in response that determines your results. People who are able to consistently achieve excellence are not those who avoid difficulties. They are those who know how to harness their emotions, redirect energy from frustration or fear into focus and action, and maintain a state of momentum no matter what circumstances surround them. Transformation is not about changing the world immediately. It is about changing the internal energy that drives your behavior. When your emotional energy is aligned with your goals, every decision you make, every action you take, becomes exponentially more effective. Conversely, when your emotional state is scattered, negative, or reactive, even the most brilliant plans can fall apart. This is why personal development, leadership, and success are deeply tied to emotional mastery. The ability to create lasting change comes not from information alone, but from the consistent, deliberate use of your emotional energy to fuel action and reinforce progress. It is about building the capacity to choose how you feel, to create states of confidence, certainty, and enthusiasm that compel you to act and to refuse to be hijacked by doubt, fear, or self-limiting beliefs. As you begin to practice this, you notice that opportunities appear, relationships improve, and obstacles that once seemed insurmountable now become stepping stones. This shift happens not because life has suddenly become easier, but because your internal energy has become your ally. You learn to prime yourself, to take control of your focus and physiology, to replace disempowering patterns with empowering ones, and to generate the momentum needed to achieve goals that once felt out of reach. The process is not complicated, but it requires consistent awareness, deliberate action, and a commitment to refuse to let your circumstances dictate how you feel, think, and ultimately perform. The moment you decide to master your emotional energy, you unlock the potential to rewrite the story of your life, to elevate your results, and to operate from a place of unstoppable personal power. Every challenge, setback, or obstacle that we face carries within it a hidden energy, a force that, when properly understood and harnessed, becomes the fuel for growth, breakthrough, and transformation. Most people instinctively resist difficulty. They see problems as interruptions, frustrations, or unfair burdens, and in that resistance, they drain their own energy. Yet the truth is that every challenge is a signal, a call to shift perspective, elevate your focus, and mobilize the energy within you toward action. Obstacles are not the enemy. They are the doorway. They demand that you access parts of yourself that remain dormant during times of comfort, patience, and ease. The energy that rises when you confront a challenge is the same energy that can create excellence, innovation, and resilience. The moment you stop fighting against the challenge and start engaging with it, you begin to transform the experience from a limitation into a powerful catalyst. Consider the way extreme situations push people to their edge. The fear, the uncertainty, the pressure. They ignite a focus, a clarity, and a determination that cannot exist without the resistance. In fact, the most remarkable achievements are often born out of the most difficult circumstances because the energy generated by adversity drives action that comfort never could. It is not the circumstances themselves that define you. It is the energy you bring to them, the emotional state you cultivate, and the choices you make in response. Every failure, every disappointment, every moment that tests you contains the potential to awaken resourcefulness, courage, and creativity you didn't know you had. Learning to see setbacks through this lens transforms them from drains on your energy into accelerators of your potential. The key lies in perception and focus. When you train your mind to look for opportunity within difficulty, your emotional energy shifts from resistance to momentum, from frustration to problem solving, from fear to determination. People who consistently rise above their circumstances are not immune to challenges. They simply have learned to use the energy of adversity as a tool. They understand that every barrier is temporary, every problem contains a lesson, and every moment of discomfort is a spark that, if fueled properly, can ignite lasting change. By consciously choosing how you respond to the trials in your life, by channeling the energy of discomfort into purposeful action, you tap into a force that is exponentially more powerful than any external advantage. Obstacles are not a stop sign. They are an invitation to step up, to push further, and to engage the inner reserves of energy, focus, and resilience that define the most extraordinary lives. The energy within a challenge is neutral, waiting for your decision to direct it. And when directed consciously, it becomes an unstoppable engine for personal growth and achievement. You are the captain of your mind and the master of your feelings, and the moment you fully embrace this truth, everything in your life begins to shift. Most people live as though they are at the mercy of circumstances, letting events, other people, or external pressures dictate how they feel and how they act. But the reality is that your inner world, the way you think, the emotions you choose to cultivate, the energy you bring to every moment, determines the quality of your life far more than any external factor. Every situation you encounter presents a choice. You can react automatically, allowing old patterns, fear, or doubt to control you, or you can consciously decide the state you will inhabit and the energy you will project. This mastery does not come from avoidance or denial of difficult emotions. It comes from awareness, focus, and deliberate action. When you understand that your emotional state is yours to command, you recognize that your mind and body are tools that respond to the signals you send them. Your posture, your breathing, the stories you tell yourself, all of these influence the energy you bring into your day, the clarity of your thinking, and the effectiveness of your actions. Those who achieve extraordinary results are those who consistently choose empowering states over disempowering ones, who deliberately cultivate energy that fuels confidence, creativity, and persistence, even in the face of adversity. The power to shape your reality lies in this conscious engagement with your internal state, in the recognition that every emotion you feel has a direction and a purpose. By taking control of your mental and emotional landscape, you no longer leave your success, happiness, or fulfillment to chance. Instead, you become a deliberate architect of your experience, capable of responding to life's challenges with precision, courage, and unstoppable moment. Mastery over your mind and emotions is also about understanding the ripple effect. The energy you bring into one situation influences the people around you, the opportunities you attract, and the outcomes you produce. Every decision, every interaction, every action is amplified when you operate from a state of intentional, emotional, and mental alignment. This is why high performers consistently cultivate routines, rituals, and practices that prime their state before they tackle critical tasks, knowing that the quality of their internal energy dictates the quality of their results. It is not luck, circumstances, or natural talent that creates extraordinary achievement. It is the conscious management of energy, focus, and emotion. When you step into the role of master over your mind and your feelings, you tap into a level of freedom and potential that allows you to create experiences, relationships, and results that once seemed impossible, and you begin to live a life guided by deliberate choice rather than reaction. Small shifts in energy and emotion have the power to create massive, unstoppable momentum in every area of your life. Most people underestimate the impact of tiny changes in the way they feel, the way they think, or the energy they bring to each moment, yet these small adjustments compound over time into extraordinary results. Imagine standing at the edge of a powerful river. One small stone tossed in may create a ripple, but the consistent throwing of stones, carefully aimed and timed, can alter the course of the current itself. Your emotional energy works in exactly the same way. When you make small, intentional choices to elevate your state, to focus on what empowers you, and to cultivate emotions that drive action rather than hesitation, you create a ripple effect that expands into every area of your life. This is the essence of momentum. It is not born from a single heroic effort, but from the accumulation of consistent, deliberate energy shifts. When you learn to recognize the moments when your energy dips, when frustration, doubt, or fear begins to creep in, and you consciously choose to shift your physiology, your focus, or your mindset, you interrupt patterns that would otherwise limit you and replace them with patterns that propel you forward. These adjustments may feel small in the moment, almost imperceptible, yet their impact multiplies exponentially. Momentum is built from repeated actions fueled by consistent emotional energy, and once it begins, it becomes self-reinforcing. Every positive action, every focused effort, every decision made from a place of empowered energy accelerates the pace at which results appear, creating a cycle that grows stronger with each iteration. This principle applies to every area of life, health, relationships, career, and personal growth. When you take control of your internal energy, even in the smallest ways, you shift the trajectory of your outcomes. By choosing to respond with clarity instead of confusion, with confidence instead of fear, with passion instead of apathy, You are continuously feeding the momentum that shapes your reality. People who consistently achieve extraordinary success are not necessarily the ones who start with massive resources or perfect circumstances. They are the ones who understand the power of these small, deliberate shifts in energy. They know that a single change in state can alter the quality of a conversation, the effectiveness of a task, or the outcome of an entire day. Over time, these micro adjustments compound into unstoppable momentum, creating a life in which possibilities expand and opportunities multiply. Mastery of energy at this level is both an art and a science. It requires awareness, discipline, and a relentless commitment to choose states that empower you. And when applied consistently, it transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary impact and sets in motion forces that carry you towards success in ways that seem almost effortless.